G'day, and welcome to StAC's 100.
Today we concentrate on the Centenary as we launch a year of celebrations.
The students of the college are getting a great taste of the Centenary this week, especially with the Special Assembly coming up.
We'll hear a bit more about what's planned a little later on from our Director of Development.
But first, we meet two people who are initially involved with the celebrations. Today we have Alex Callaghan, our archivist and museum curator, and Rick Harvie, our filmmaker. Rick is producing a film about the college. Welcome to you both.
Thanks.
Hello.
First, Alex, as a museum curator, you must have a really big role in the Centenary arrangements.
Definitely. It's my first priority to organise all the archives so we can actually use them for Centenary. So we're talking 100 years of photographs, documentation, speeches, just everything.
So I assume we have quite a lot of film.
Yes, we do. We've actually recently digitised, I think, 12 reels of old archival footage.
Wow.
Whoa. Rick, as a filmmaker, are you using some of the old films?
We've had a look at the first initial dump. I'm not sure what it is, Alex. Would that be out of the reels? How much? What's the proportion of that we've seen?
8.
8. Okay. And it is quite interesting. Yeah, having a look at this, at what's there. I mean, some of the stuff dating back to the 1930s. It actually looks fantastic. It's shot on film, which is actually a better quality than video itself. So yeah, we're looking at and the interesting ways that people did high jump or athletics or
Wow.
sprinting. Yeah, I mean it's quite funny to look at. Yeah.
And so
They swim like this as well, but rather than with their heads down. Yeah.
So you're making a film on the college.
Yep.
Where do you start?
Well, I started with an initial kind of concept, I guess, of what I remember having been here. What I thought were memories that would come back, and the ones that were at the forefront of my mind, or maybe in the deep recesses. And I came up with a treatment, which is, I suppose, a lyrical kind of look at what it means to be a student here, and the sort of things that stay with you after you leave the college. So that's kind of been the thrust of my research, I guess, and I've just been looking to sort of piece it together over time with Alex's help.
Wow.
So you two have been working together on the project. Must be exciting.
And very full on. There's a lot of archives for it to go through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been making our way through thousands of photos and plucking some things out. But yeah, essentially we're kind of looking at the things that show the spirit of what it means to be here. It's the sort of fun stuff and the more amusing kind of photographs and things like that. And also the kind of bits, I guess the stories that go quite deep. So the sad ones, earthquakes, wars and things like that, as well as the kind of the happy times and the kind of and the fun times as well.
So thanks to you guys both, now we actually have a little bit of old footage from the 1966 15th Jubilee of the college.
Service to the community. St Andrew's College has sent out into the world beyond scholars, musicians, artists, sportsmen who have served their country well. An example of the college's service to the community is shown in the work of the pipe band, which has lent its services to gay days and holidays, sad days, ceremony, and royal occasions. St Andrew's College is entering the challenging years of the future. Many of us in this year of 1966 won't be present for its centenary, but we can rejoice that it will build its future upon the foundations that we have helped to lay. This daily work will continue on as these closing scenes depict. And possibly many of those present boys will live to see the 100th Jubilee. This record of the celebration ends where the foundations of the college began 50 years ago with the church.
Wow. In my opinion, that's making me feel a bit nostalgic. Amazing.
And that new gym, I remember that when that was opened.
So now we have a interview that Alicia and Danny spoke with Clare Wilkinson the other day, and so
Claire is in charge when it comes to the Centenary. She's the Director of Development. We asked her about the Centenary and the various events that are about to unfold.
Welcome, Claire. So this is a very big organisational job, isn't it?
It is. It's a huge organisational job. So we've got, obviously there's lots of different aspects. We've got a lot of audience. We need audiences we want to have included in the Centenary. So we've got our current students, which we want to be a big part of the celebration. We've also got Old Collegians, staff past and present. So we want to make sure nobody's left out. We also want to make sure we get in touch with as many Old Collegians as we can. So there's been months and months and months of preparation and trying to get in touch with them and update our database so that everybody's included. And then of course we need to make sure that everything that we're planning is still in keeping with the school year, so we don't want it to be too much of a distraction, but we want to make sure we celebrate it because it's such a significant part of our history.
So the assembly to launch the Centenary is coming up very fast on September 16th. Tell us about that.
So that is going to be a really special assembly. We've got a couple of special features throughout that day. It's mostly for the students. We can't fit too many more people in, so we're going to make sure that it's really about the school celebrating the official launch. We have a special piece of music that has been written, especially for the Centenary, by an Old Collegian, Christopher Adams. He's now the head of music at King's College in Auckland, and he's produced and composed a piece of music which we're calling the Centenary Overture, and that will be, we'll hear that for the very first time at the Assembly. We've also got a timeline that's been created, an art piece that's going to be revealed that day on the Senior College wall, and we'll organise at the end of the Centenary, we're going to have a whole school photo. So that's just a couple of highlights, but obviously there's other things happening at that Assembly, which will be really special.
So we've heard mention of a film, a special Centenary film. What's that all about?
Again, it's we want to make sure that we mark this significant day in our history. So we are creating a film which will look at StAC over the last 100 years. There'll be archival footage that will be used in the film. It's been created by an Old Collegian, Rick Harvie. He owns Belmont Productions, and him and his team are working on that closely with our communications team. So they will be, it will be pretty special. We'll be looking at the past, but also where we are now and where we're going into the future.
Then of course there's a chapel opening in October.
Yeah, it's great that the first of our celebrations after the Centenary launch is the opening of our Centennial Chapel, which is just a fantastic facility, and it's going to be amazing. So we've got a really special service that we're planning for that day. There's going to be a lot of people here, a lot of Old Collegians are coming back for that, and it will be, it'll be really special.
thanks to Clare, the Centenary celebrations are going to be exciting. And with the launch of the Centenary Chapel.
Well, that's StAC's 100 for this time. We'll be back after the holidays when we look at more of what the college is doing during its centenary year.
Thank you to our guests today, and of course, the Media Academy. Goodbye.
A crowd of 3,000 people gathered at the beautiful grounds of the college for the occasion. The talk, the reminiscences continued. There was plenty to watch and marvel at. The hospitality again was of a high standard. The college gymnast team gave a fine display. The gymnastic work at St Andrews has always been of a high standard. One of the college's outstanding gymnasts, who has achieved prominence in New Zealand gymnastic competitions, Jeff Heisman, led a team of present-day lads in this display. It is interesting to recall that back in 1937, when the college celebrated its coming of age, a similar display was given. Appropriately, in the background, the new gymnasium shows its imposing lines.